Welcome, everybody, to Miami Living with Levi, another episode here at the Community Newspapers Media Headquarters. Today, we'll be talking real estate, and we've invited a very special guest today with us, Mr. Manny Chamizo, who is the Director of Global Commercial for Southeby International Realty. Welcome, Manny.
Thank you for having me, Levi. I really appreciate the opportunity to tell you and your audience about commercial real estate.
Well, Manny and I go back.
No, wait. But before we start, I want to turn the tables on you a little bit. I know you do these interviews, and we've known each other for a long time.
I'm supposed to be interviewing you. That's how this works.
I know. But before we start, I'm going to turn the tables just a little bit of this one interview. I want to know a little bit about you and how you got into real estate.
Oh, I see. All right. Well, actually, so that goes right back to Manny Chamizo. So early days of Levi Meyer real estate. When I was searching for a place to hang my hat, I came to a brokerage in Miami called Fortune International Realty, where I met Manny Chamizo, who was at the time the managing director of the Coral Gables office.
Yeah, some big title.
Some fancy title. And we clicked, we vibed. I'd been to a lot of various different offices, been doing interviews. Right away met Manny and said, all right, this is a guy that I can work with. And from day one, what was it? Manny said to me, do you want to sell commercial or do you want to sell residential? And
that's right.
And I said, which one gets me paid faster?
I said, do residential. Right? You're going to get paid faster. Actually, you asked me a different question. You said, which one can I make the most money in? How can I make the most money fastest? And I said, rob a bank.
Yeah. That's how you make quick money.
Yeah, that's how you make really quick money, but it won't last.
So we ended up with real estate. Manny ended up telling me, he said, well, what kind of real estate? I said, the most expensive real estate I could sell. I want a luxury real estate. He says, great, waterfront. That's where you want to be. Targeted me specifically to go into the Coral Gables waterway. And it was the days later, Manny and I were on a kayak, courtesy of Manny's kayaks. And we were kayaking the waterways, we have great photos from those days, actually.
Absolutely. That was a really nice day. You learned a lot about the different types of real estate that are waterfront. You learned about davits and bulkheads and bridge.
Yeah, everything from bridge heights to clearances to seawalls. We learned about tides and biminis and davits and lifts and various different docks. And then we created a dossier of waterfront real estate, where we just went out and targeted anything that looked like it needed a little bit of love. Really starting with the stuff that was maybe on the lower end that could use rehab, or maybe was at an entry level price point. Maybe if somebody didn't have a boat out back, or if they had a rusty old fence or a blue tarp. We were really just sort of targeting from the bottom up. And now thank God we've come a long way. Now we just went hard on a $4.225 million new construction house on the Gables Waterway on Friday.
That's fantastic, Levi. Well, I must say, I'm very proud of you. A young man that walked into my office, kind of a little green, I met you, it's got to be 10 years.
Almost 10 years now.
10 years. You've grown and matured very well, and I wish you all the continued success in your endeavors. I'm glad to hear that you're doing so well, and that some of that rubbed off.
All right. Enough about me. People know what this is my show. They know enough about me at this point. Tell us about Manny Chamizo.
Sure.
The commercial real estate megalomaniac, the guru.
Well, I've been doing it 35 years. It's the only thing I've ever done as far as commercial real estate. I just don't think as flowery, as you guys do. My thing is very, very methodical. 2 and 2 is 4. There's no other way around it for us. We're very simple-minded people, to say that. But we're very creative because nothing is really standard in our business. In 35 years, I've been active in just about every sector of the market: land development, industrial, multifamily, retail, hotels. So basically, just about every aspect. I've actually owned almost all of them as well. So I've kind of suffered through them in the downturns, and I've been successful in the upturns. I'm the global commercial director for Sotheby's. Sotheby's is part of the Sotheby's network, and we're worldwide. So we can sell a property in Brazil, we can sell a property in Paris, we can sell a property in Canada, wherever Sotheby's has an office.
So tell me about what you're seeing in the Florida real estate market with specifics to commercial. And just for the audience, whoever may not be familiar with commercial real estate, it's easy to just put the brand commercial, but there are a lot of very specialized sectors of commercial, from retail to office to industrial, warehouse, land sales, high-rise development parcels. But I guess maybe with a little bit of focus to some of your projects you're working on and what you're seeing in today's commercial real estate market in Florida.
Well, I got to tell you, we are red hot. Not even red hot. I think we're white hot in Florida. Yeah. Anyone that's read the newspapers, the periodicals, everyone wants to be in Florida for a number of reasons. Our tax benefits obviously benefit everyone that's getting clobbered in these other states. Sorry, California. Sorry, New York. You keep paying taxes, and we'll just keep taking your residence. It's great. It really is. And I'm on Zoom calls almost 2 or 3 times a week with different investors that want to come down to Florida because of the fact that it's tax friendly. The weather is very nice, and basically you can get a very nice return for your dollars. Whereas in these other places like New York, sorry, New York, I'm picking on you again.
Stop picking on New York City.
It's okay.
I have friends in New York. They hate it when I pick on you. We're just going to focus on how great Miami is.
That's right. However, it's really great because our cap rates are better than New York.
It's like, hey, we're not picking on New York.
We're not picking on New York.
We're not picking on New York,
Okay.
but our cap rates are way better.
And we don't get taxed as much. So that's the truth. But yeah, the Florida's white hot right now. Every sector is on fire as far as land developments. If you're a developer, you want to come down to Florida, the developments are really, really doing well. We've got large developments. In fact, I'm doing one right now. We'll talk about it a little later, called Melbourne City. It's a 270-acre large parcel that we're going to be developing in Melbourne. I didn't know this.
Where's Melbourne specifically?
Melbourne specifically is due north of Orlando. I'll tell you, it's due northeast of Orlando along the Space Coast. There's going to be SpaceX there. There's Embraer there. There's a bunch of the high-tech space,
big in space, aeronautics, aviation.
Correct. We'll talk about that in a minute, but
it's not far from like where the Kennedy Space Center is.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. For those of you that are not Florida based, that is correct. That turned out to be the number one place right now that everyone's buying is actually in Melbourne. Unbeknownst to me, we've had that property on the radar now for about 5 years, and we decided that we were going to come out with it this year versus next year because of what's going on with Florida. But the market in general is hot. Everyone was scared about the pandemic and COVID and what it was going to do with the different sectors of the market. Being office, everyone said office, it's going to get decimated. Retail, it's going to get decimated. And the truth of the matter is all of those have bounced back very well. It could be a Florida effect. It also could be the fact that everyone has backfilled a lot of these other areas that they thought that were going to be completely empty. For example, office buildings. Office buildings were the first ones that everyone said, we're not going to the office. Okay, fine. A couple of months went by, and then all of a sudden, medical started to backfill all of the offices that we thought were completely empty. I had one specifically, and we thought, oh, this is going to be empty for a while. It's a 20,000 square foot building. And in no time, we filled it up with a surgery center. Interestingly enough, we had the same thing go with testing centers for medical. So medical backfilled a lot of these other offices that were going to be empty. We probably won't see 50,000 square foot, 100,000 square foot offices any longer. You want to ask me why?
Why isn't it? Well, that was my question. You jumped right ahead because I was going to actually ask you specifically what are we seeing in office? Is the office dead? Has remote working replaced that from what you're seeing in the market?
No, I think we're going to see those that had 50,000 square foot offices are probably going to be looking at offices that are 10,000, where some of the admin could work from home. Probably some say more effectively, some say not, but the actual marketing and sales divisions have to have interaction. That's how we make our money. That's how we interact with people. And it's very hard to do that on a Zoom call. And you're not going to be able to be as efficient, especially when your children walk in and, Benjamin will walk in. Hey, what are you doing?
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I actually found it very difficult to work from home. A lot of people love it or thrive on it. I just can't. When I'm home, I want to spend time with the kids. The kids want to spend time with me. I want to make my way to the refrigerator one too many times. Definitely packed on the shelter-in-place COVID-15. I find it very difficult and distracting to be working from home. So for me, I was working in the office as soon as they opened them back up and allowed us to have them there, to be in the offices. I was there, even when there was maybe me, myself, and maybe one or two other agents with Liz Hogan and Brett Eaglestein sitting in the office, and everybody else was gone. And then slowly but surely, everybody's trickling back in. We're nowhere near full capacity.
I remember speaking to you. You were going crazy. I mean, I pressure cleaned my house twice. I had nothing better to do.
You helped me change the brakes on the bicycle that I bought.
You came over. We're buying stuff on offer up.
Shelter in place.
Nothing to do.
Shelter in place.
Who's buying real estate in the pandemic? Not then, but now, of course, we're seeing it all come back. But yeah, you got the right example. Everyone has now learned that those that can work from home will work from home, and maybe not as efficiently. I can't work from home in my boxer shorts and my T-shirt as efficiently as I am right now with you here, because we're dressed. We come out, we dress, and we're dressed to perform. That's part of our.
And you look sharp today.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
I, on the other hand,
and so do you.
I, on the other hand, you
can't
can't see, but I have my work boots on. I was actually, prior to being here today, I had to tour a new construction building in North Beach, right on the bay. But yeah, we were out in the sun, and I have my steel toes on, and so I didn't have time to get dressed up and clean. But that's real estate. That is what it sometimes takes. Sometimes, it's going to require when you're going and seeing a site, when you're on a site tour, or you're doing a development site, you put your work boots on and get out there. And other ways you're dressed to the nines.
Well, I'm going to say that most of the time, we commercial guys are up on a roof, or we're touring properties, right? We're in the middle of nowhere, looking at just barren land and seeing what could be done there. Whereas you guys are, having a drink, almost like we're having right now. Cheers.
This is the off-camera thing.
Is this the off-camera?
Today's episode brought to you by Casamigos. Unofficially brought to you by Casamigos. But yeah, that's the job. Is sometimes we're climbing up makeshift wooden ladders to get and crawling over rebar to take videos for our clients in New York. And sometimes I'm standing inside a home, rotating through 11 buyers back to back on a Sunday because the market's on fire. But even on those days, I wish I were wearing sneakers. And we tend to dress a little bit more casually in Miami real estate, whereas our New York friends, unfortunately,
we're going to talk about your pink shorts.
Sometimes I wear pink shorts to showings. I sold
I know you keep saying that. I showed
a $22 million house yesterday
in pink shorts,
in flip flops.
Wow.
In flip-flops. I asked my client, I was on the way, the kids are home for spring break.
Right.
And, I'm trying to balance. It's Hanukkah. They're off from school. We have friends in town. So we wanted to spend a little bit of time at the pool. So we ran over to the pool, had lunch at the pool at the Ritz-Carlton in Miami Beach, visiting our friends, the Rothmans from Newport. I'm sorry, not Newport, from Westchester outside of New York City. And we did a quick lunch, quick swim with the kids, and then I had to run back to go do a showing. So I sent a picture of myself to my client, said jokingly, should I come to the showing dressed like this? And he said, absolutely. So we have to show these people that we're not, that money doesn't grow on trees around here. He says, let's be as casual as possible.
Great.
And so yeah, I went in flip flops and a sun shirt.
That's awesome.
Which is not something you can typically do in most real estate, and not something I would typically do, but a very, very good buyer. And I think you have to just go with what the buyers feel comfortable with, what your sellers feel comfortable with. In that case, it made sense.
And we do what we have to do to make that sale.
He also was wearing flip flops, for the record.
Oh, perfect. You guys were two peas in a pod.
So you're seeing Miami. You're seeing Miami on fire.
Absolutely.
You're seeing the market go crazy. And you're specifically seeing that in which sectors? So you're saying office being replaced by a lot of medical?
Retail is being filled as well. I mean, you can't cut your hair. By the way, you're getting a little shabby. And so am I. You can't cut your hair on the internet. You can't fix your shoes on the internet. Everyone's talking about the Amazon effect. Okay, Amazon's a big player. If you're selling trinkets, I get it. Trinkets can be sold on Amazon. but you're not going to be able to get everything on Amazon. You can't service your vehicle on Amazon. You can't. There's a lot of things that can't be done. It's just so what you look for is an Amazon resistant tenant. Restaurants are one of them, and right now restaurants are one of our biggest tenants. We've got them. I mean, literally, I get 3, 4, 5 calls a week from guys that are coming down from up north, from Chicago, from LA, from New York, from New England. I mean, they're all coming down to Florida, and they're looking for second generation space, which means it's a restaurant that was a restaurant that has a grease trap or a hood. And basically, they're looking for something that gets them out of the chute quicker, which means that they're able to get up and operate within, let's say, a year, 6 months to a year versus 18 months or 2 years, which is the typical build out.
And it saves them a lot of, I mean, some of the biggest expenses in restaurants are build out. I mean, I've heard of restaurants going in and putting $2 million into a build out, and then they're out of business in 2 years, and you can't recoup that money.
Crazy. That's crazy. And that is an operator that fell in love with the location and wanted to have something there and wants to put his heart and soul in there. I mean, I saw one, they spent $11 million and they were out of business in literally in 6 months, 6, 7 months they were out. You go, wow. A lot of times these are investor money. So it's not really the owner that loses it, but the investor. So kind of like a stock market play where you bet everything on this one stock and it went out. But anyway, so the office is being backfilled. The retail is always going to be a great market. I strongly suggest anyone that's going into commercial real estate to take a look at every single sector, see where they feel comfortable with. If they feel comfortable with office, they feel comfortable with retail, or the staple, of course, is multifamily. If there's anything that this pandemic showed us is that you have to have a roof over your head. And so you have to live somewhere. So you don't have to go to the office. So maybe the office spaces shrink, but you definitely have to have a roof over your head. The only condition is in other parts of the United States, they've got all these rent controls and they have these eviction moratoriums. That causes a little bit of a stress when you're the landlord and you still have to pay your mortgage and they're not paying you the rent, but the garbage still has to get picked up and the water still comes in and you still got to pay that and you got to pay the house lights and all the other things that go with being a landlord. I happen to own apartment buildings, so I get to live that day in and day out. And I also own retail, so I get to live that day in and day out. But quite honestly, if I compare myself and our situation compared to the overall market, I think that we've done quite nicely.
What are you seeing? What properties are you marketing right now? What do you have? I know you were telling us about the large parcel that you have in Melbourne. What is that? 200 and how many acres?
270 acres in Melbourne, Florida. It's really a planned community. It has single family homes, multifamily, which would be apartment buildings or apartment complex or condos. We have a school component. We have a hospital component. We have a retail component, which is going to be like a big box, maybe a Target or Publix. Although I just found out Publix said, no, we've got a store down the street, so I've got to find somebody else. We also have a medical campus as well as a K-8 campus. So this is a complete master plan community that is going to be in the center, the donut hole of Melbourne. And if we'll look at it one day.
And since we were knocking Amazon a little earlier, this is their redemption shot at taking that space and putting a Whole Foods there.
They can have a Whole Foods. I'll be happy. Yeah, sorry, Amazon. I didn't
we take it back.
Yeah, no, not all of it. Not all of it, because I got more retail guys than Amazon. But and by the way, I'm still not getting my stuff that I ordered. I ordered these same shoes that you complimented me on, and they're still on back order. But
so you have that. And what's the price tag? What's the price tag on this planned community?
Oh, the whole thing?
Or are you selling? I mean,
No, it'll be
about that.
Probably the whole sellout will be $280 million, something, or even north of that. Because a lot of that stuff is going to stay in-house. It won't get sold. It'll basically get leased out. So you'll do a land lease on a lot of these larger parcels. They don't get sold. Then I've got some multifamilies. I've got a really interesting one. You'll like this one. It's called Terrazas del Sol. It's in Bal Harbor. It's on 81st off of Ocean there.
It's a great location.
And a really nice, brand new 6-unit apartment. I went from this huge development to a nice affordable one, right? It's a $5.5 million deal. 6 units, brand new. It's strapped with a lease for the next 5 years with a company called Sextant. Sextant does high-end short-term rentals, which is kind of interesting. So what they do is they pay you a certain amount of money, no matter what they rent it or they don't rent it, they're going to pay you on your 5 years, right? Now, they're going to maintain it. They're going to lease it on a day-to-day basis, month-to-month basis. They'll do whatever they need to
furnish
do.
them up and rent
They
them out
furnish them, and this
short-term
is
corporate
beautiful.
housing.
This is a 4-story product with a beautiful widow's peak overlooking the beach. Beautiful. And I've got that for sale. I strapped it with that same lease as soon as they got CO. And now the owners want to go ahead and cash it out on a 5.25% cap rate, $5.5 million. You get $800. So it's 300,800.
300,800.
800 every year, no matter what. In addition to that, then you've got your increases every year, which run around between 2 and 3% a year. And you've got a really nice return. In fact, I think you should sell it to your mother-in-law and your father-in-law.
We'll see if they bite. I want to know who did the lease that made it $300,800. There must be a story there.
Sometimes there is. I won't lie to you. It's sometimes there is, but no, this one just happens to be that number. So
this is not like that time that we negotiated the golf cart in that home sale.
Oh, you're going to say that story? Is that what you're going to say? All right, go ahead, say it. Say it. We were stuck on the negotiations. We knew we were 100,000 apart.
Well,
go ahead, you say it.
Every time we went to that showing, the agent said the golf cart's not included. Golf cart's not included. Golf cart's not included. So when we finally came down to making a deal, we were going to walk. I said, "Listen, what's it going to take to make it work?" I said, "Well, about $100,000 in a golf cart."
That's it. 100,000.
And she says, "Golf cart? That's ridiculous. Nobody's not going to buy the house." I said, "You're right. He's not going to not buy it over a golf cart. He's not going to not sell it over a golf cart."
But the broker on the other end,
make him happy and give him the golf cart. So Manny and I can joyride in the golf cart.
That's exactly right.
So the long story short, she said, "What was the good news and bad news?" Like, so I said, "Give me the bad news first." She goes, "You're going to need new batteries for your golf cart."
Okay. Yeah, that cost me like $2,700 to have that golf cart redone, but it was fine. It was great.
Good times. You made out whole on that golf cart.
I did. I mean, my daughter drove it for a long time, and she had a great time. I also have another really interesting one. You'll like this one by Merrick Park called Merrick Manor. Got 11 retail spaces on the bottom of a 227 unit multifamily. It's all condos on top, and then you got 11 units.
That's the new development. That's the new development.
Brand new, yeah, brand new. Right next to it's just steps by Merrick Park.
No, it's really close.
Really,
that's
nice.
That's a prime A. That's an A location.
Prime location. I only have 3 left. I have a large restaurant space. Talking about restaurants, 4,488 square feet with 2,000 square feet, 1,800 square feet of open terrace. Everybody wants to be outside now, right? I've got that space, and I've got one other space, and they've been like leasing up and selling at a clip. That one's for sale and for rent, which is kind of unique. The developer is pretty nimble. He's been great in offering us the ability to do a lease with an option to buy. So you want a lease, want to apply some of your rent money towards the purchase, you can do it.
Awesome. What else are you seeing? And I'm just going to, I guess this will be sort of the last major question. Would be, for somebody coming into Miami, I have a lot of clients, as you can see, that are they're looking at homes that are $3 million, $4 million. They're in Pinecrest, they're in Coral Gables, they're in Miami Beach. It's say mostly between $3 and $6 million. I have a handful of clients in the 15 and 20 range that are looking at waterfront properties in Coconut Grove and on North Bay Road. But a lot of those clients are looking to invest in commercial real estate. Where would you suggest that somebody that's new to Miami maybe put some of their focus? Are there any hot and upcoming neighborhoods that you think are going to be the next Wynwood, or will be the next Williamsburg, that they're, even if we're drawing parallels to neighborhoods in New York, that they could come in and place their money to make incredible returns, either in the short or long term?
It really depends on if you're a long-term player or a short-term player. I believe that Alapata is a great neighborhood. It's the spillover of Wynwood. I did not believe in Wynwood. I'll be quite honest with you. I used to buy my sneakers there when I was a kid, and you could not go there after 4 o'clock because who knows, right?
You needed the sneakers to run.
Yeah, you needed that's exactly right. You needed the sneakers to get the hell out of there. But that area there has exploded, and again, you look at things. If you've been in the market as long as I have, you get to see markets explode, and you get to be proven wrong. Basically, time will tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, that area, forget it. That's never going to happen. And sure enough, there it does. It does. Areas like Coconut Grove, Coral Gables, Miami Beach, South Miami, Aventura, those areas are always going to be fine.
Those are established. Those are stabilized, established markets. My question is more, what's coming? So Allapattah is
one of them.
Allapattah's been on the rise for years, and people have been, I think a lot of
Which
people
one?
have already in Allapattah. People have already, people who bought in 3 to 5 years ago have already done very well for themselves. But we're still seeing
there's still room. There's still room for that. You might want to be able to buy on the dip on some of these areas. It all depends on your temperament. So if you want absolutely no risk whatsoever, just buy land. Just buy land, let it sit there. It's patient money. You're gonna, I can sandwich you between Mr. Goldman and Mr. Rodriguez, which I know sooner or later, someone's gonna buy you. So it all depends on, and I know Mr. Goldman is gonna do a high rise, or he's doing a high rise, and Mr. Rodriguez is gonna be doing something else. So the interesting thing about being in our position is that you're able to be basically on the 50-yard line of everyone's game. You get to watch the progress. You get to watch everyone's development plans and see, and you get an idea. So land would be number one. If you want something a little more stable, we have triple net leases. So we can do a Starbucks, we can do a Burger King, we can do a Kentucky Fried Chicken, we can do just about any type of steady as she goes, coupon cutting, 5%, 6% return for the next 20 years. So that's the next level. Then the next level above that would be a stabilized multifamily deal, which means it's strapped, like I mentioned to you before, on terraces with a lease that someone else handles everything. They handle all the maintenance. They handle all of the repairs. They handle everything. And all you got to do is just collect your check every month. Just look at your statement. Make sure that it comes in between the 1st and the 5th.
These are referred to as triple nets, no?
Triple nets, correct. That's exactly right. You learned.
Anyway, we've come a long way. But triple nets are where when it's net. They're paying the taxes, the insurance, the maintenance, like landlords just collecting a check.
Some of the ones that I've done very well for my clients are Verizon and AT&T stores. They're great. We have them, and those are simple. The next level up would be retail, as far as temperament, right? I said no temperament. I just want to park my money and just let it sit there, and then you start working your way up. The next one would be retail. Retail clients are great because they do 5-10-year leases. You set it and forget it. Make sure that you service it, to the point that it's the building's maintained. You don't have a water leak. The ACs are somewhat maintained, or at least unless you pass that along to the tenant to take care of. And then the next one that's a little bit more labor intensive would be industrial. Industrial right now is absolutely white hot. It's absolutely crazy, simply because you're getting Amazon, you're getting your stuff, shipped to you, right? Everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And what areas are those that you're seeing people buy industrial for logistics, for Amazon type warehousing and properties?
So if it's Miami-Dade County, you're going to be talking about Doral. You're going to be talking about Miramar. You're going to be talking about these new areas down south. Homestead is really hot as well. And Hialeah, East Hialeah is actually a really good market right now. But you can't find product. You literally cannot find a warehouse. I've been hunting for a 50,000 square foot warehouse now for 3 or 4 months. Can't find it.
Well, then let's do the flip. Then if anybody has a warehouse that they're looking to sell or move, reach out, contact Manny, and let's get you leased up or sold. Yeah,
actually, if you have anything that's empty right now, please contact me. It's therebroker.com, therebroker.com, or you can look me up on Manny Chamizo.
Not hard to find. I think, as far as I know, the only Manny Chamizo in Miami.
Yeah, how many Manny Chamizos are you going to find? Manny and then Chamizo with a Z. But anything that you've got that's available, if you want to sell, or if you want to buy, feel free to give me a call. Happy to answer your whatever questions. I'm happy to educate you a little bit on what's happening in the market. Levi, I mean, you've seen it happen. It happens. It really does. I mean, right now in Florida, just if it's empty, you got the wrong place.
Oh yeah. No,
Right?
anything that's ready to move in is moving. Stuff that needs a lot of work. It's a little slower on the market, but things that are turnkey that somebody can move into. And I imagine the same being on the commercial side. Obviously, on the commercial side, people have to do a little bit more of their own customizations and build outs. But on the residential side, if you can move in, it's done. So we're telling people if we list it, we're going to sell it. There's no question. We can push pricing. We have to be reasonable, but there's or somewhat within the realm of reason.
Right.
But I see people listing it even what I would consider egregious pricing, and they're still getting bites. And if you're willing to make a deal, somebody's going to come up and take it. Manny, we're running out of time for today, but you have been great, and you've always been an excellent resource to me whenever I have a commercial real estate question. One of the first guys on my list.
What?
Oh,
one of the first.
Sometimes I have someone sitting next to me.
Oh, okay, fine.
You're a busy guy, hard to reach, but you're right up there. It's always been great to watch you sell real estate. You never seem to be afraid to take on wild projects and get them done. And so I commend you and applaud you for that. And I appreciate having you on the show today. Let's go sell some real estate, actually. So,
well, wait a minute. Let's white out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, so thanks for being on the show. The first.
Oh, you gotta go this way. Oh, too tall.
Hello.
Okay,
we're off. We're gonna go sell some real estate.